Over the past 3 years, I've been experimenting and trying different things in order to make my life in the kitchen much easier. I'm used to living with other people, whether that be family, roommate, significant other. So when I moved here and I was finally alone, it was a bit of a struggle. Wasting food has never been a problem for me. If anything, it was always the opposite, not having enough food. But once I got here and I was only cooking for myself, things got a little tricky. I found myself wasting food more, letting it go bad, or just staying in the freezer till forever. A lot of that was because of just the new environment. For the first time in ever, I was cooking for just myself. Not only that, I was single, so I was going out, grabbing food with friends, going on dates and things like that. So there would be times where in my mind, I'm gonna cook all week, I got this chicken. However, last minute things would come up, dates, hanging out with friends, things with family, and sometimes cooking just wasn't. I meal prepped in a certain way for so long, and now all of a sudden I have to change because it's just me. I would get chicken, and then I didn't know exactly what to do with it, so I would just put it in the freezer. And as you know, you just get a big frozen block, and it takes hours to thaw out, and then on top of that, you have to cook whatever, so that's gonna be another 15, 20 minutes, depending on what you're making. It felt like there would be too many steps, and I needed to figure out a way to have the least amount of resistance. I wanted to eat healthy. I wanted to still be able to go out, and I wanted to eat fast. Those were the big three things that I needed to kind of figure out. And one of the best things that I learned was that I needed to be prepping my kitchen as if this was a restaurant. Make things organized, things easy, make it so that the food is ready to go. To spend the least amount of time preparing it. What was also important to me was having variety. The thing with meal prepping is sometimes you make something, but then you're having the same thing for 3, 4, 5 days in a row. And I have no problem eating the same thing over and over again. However, I like variety. One of the main things that I learned was that I had been using my freezer completely wrong. And if I'm being honest, I think a lot of people around my age are underutilizing it as well. Having the ability to freeze food and it be ready for whenever you're ready is something that I don't think that we as a people take advantage of enough. A couple of the things that I found that were extremely helpful is always making sure that your space is organized. Having a space for everything. All my spices, they are labeled. They are right here on the side of my fridge. Utensils and stuff are right next to the kitchen. So keeping things organized, always having a place for them. You want to be cleaning up while you are cooking. Again, I struggle with it, but it does help. Coming into when you're hungry and you see a kitchen that is a mess, you're less likely to cook. I can attest to that. There have been times where I'm hungry and I'm ready to eat, and it's I'm not about to clean all these dishes and cook. So now I do use a vacuum sealer because that is the gold standard of food storage. They are pretty cheap. You can get them on Amazon. I got mine. I don't remember how much I spent, but it was under $100. But you can also do this with a Ziploc bag. You can do it with freezer paper. In this video, I want to kind of show you my method on how I get this going. Let's grab our aprons. And let's get cooking. So with chicken, I typically cut it, but I cut it, try and make it as flat as possible. I do this because in case I ever forget to pull my chicken out, which I do a lot. So if you cut the chicken before, you will be able to cook it from frozen if needed. When my chicken, for instance, is frozen like this, I can pull it from the freezer to the stovetop, and I can have a meal going within 15 minutes. Also separate the food into portions. If beef is touching, that's the quickest way to turn something brown. I also try to make sure that I use the food that is frozen within 3 months. Technically, it can last however long you want, but it does start to lose quality. Lastly, you want to make sure you are removing as much air as possible because you'll get freezer burn and obviously makes the quality of the meat worse. And so you want to make sure that you are getting as much air out as possible. This is what I found to be the best method to store food. Something that I realized as I was working on my vlogs and stuff is that I can't come on YouTube and talk about all this mental health stuff and all the things that I've done. I can't do all that and not mention how much food has affected my mental health and preparing and cooking and learning how to cook, just to do something for yourself, for one, and also know what you're putting into your body. When you are cooking for yourself, you have more of a choice as to what you are putting in. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. And like I said, I'm not a cook. I am a filmmaker. I just happen to cook. So if you guys know anything that's easier or better, please let me know. This is what I found works for me, and I'm hoping that it can help you or somebody. So please store your food. You're not using your freezer enough. It may feel like it's another job. However, that 10, 15, 20 minutes just to get everything out and organized is going to help you in the long run in many ways. So please consider taking the extra time to make sure your food is stored properly. So if you got anything from this, please let me know. Like it, comment it, anything. And I'm going to enjoy the rest of my meal. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys soon.